The last video that we looked at on modus ponens will help us understand the next valid deductive argument form, which is modus tollens. And what we learned when we studied modus ponens is that when there's a conditional, if P, then Q, okay, P, the antecedent, is a sufficient condition for Q, all right? And Q, when the statement is correct, is a necessary condition for P. In other words, you don't have P if the condition Q is not met, because Q is necessary for P. All right? And what a modus tollens argument says is that in reality, okay, we're not thinking about hypotheticals now, but in reality, the condition Q is not met. So not Q. Right? And if condition Q is not met, then the sufficient condition P is not met. So not P. Now that might look a little confusing, but if we look at some actual arguments, it can start to become very clear. Let's look at this argument. Premise 1. If I'm a, let's say, UC Berkeley, which is a school in California. If I'm a UC Berkeley student, then I attend a California school. Okay. Now, is that conditional true? Yes, it's true. And even if you, as a Clark College student, it's still true that if you were to attend UC Berkeley and be a UC Berkeley student, then you would be attending a California school because the hypothetical is true. It doesn't say anything about reality, but it just talks about a possible world, you know, and it's a true statement. Okay, but then let's think about your condition. Okay, and you do not attend a California school, so we're going to deny the consequent Q. Okay, so I do not attend a California school. And so this first premise, this conditional, is true. And for you, someone who attends Clark College, this second premise is also true. And so the conclusion that we would have to follow from this consequent, not being satisfied, okay, is that you are not a UC Berkeley student. I am not a UC Berkeley student. And that follows necessarily from these premises, because attending a California school is necessary for being a UC Berkeley student. But you don't attend a California school. So if that truly is necessary for being a UC Berkeley student, then there's no way that you could be a UC Berkeley student. That necessary condition is not met. All right. So let's change this a little bit to see what happens. Let's change this to Clark College student and a Washington school. So if I'm a Clark College student, then I attend a Washington school, okay? And that checks out as true because, being a Clark College student is sufficient for attending a Washington school, and attending a Washington school is necessary for being a Clark College student, okay? So then premise 2, I do not attend a Washington school, all right? And I'm just going to erase these truth values for now. And then the conclusion would be, I am not a Clark College student, all right? And now clearly for you, the person watching the video, this conclusion is false, all right? So, that might have you question, like, is it really valid, all right? But it is, because the reason that the conclusion is false is because one or both of the premises are false. In your case, premise 1 still holds true, but premise 2 is false. You do attend a Washington school. And so this is not evidence of the argument being invalid. An argument is only invalid if it can have all true premises and a false conclusion. But what we'll find is whenever we build out two premises with this form, okay, such that they are both true, the conclusion will always follow as a true claim. It'll never be false. Okay. So this is a valid deductive argument form, just like modus ponens. And it's also known as denying the consequent. It's a valid inference if we build out premises that are true, that have this form. Then the conclusion is always going to be true. There's never an exception. And if the conclusion is false, it will always be the case that one or both of the premises are false. So it has a valid form, but it would just be unsound for having a false or two false premises.